Okay, well I've got the mortises bored and got the tenons for the side stretchers cut, and then I've taken a draw knife and taken the shoulder out, leaving the octagonal, and so it makes it pretty neat. So the tenons are going to be 1 inch deep, but I only cut them 7/8, and then I took out the shoulder, and so what you end up with is the center of the flat is flush with the tenon, and then you've got the corners, the 8 corners, standing just a bit proud, and those will cut into the mortise for that 1/8 of an inch, and it gives it a real pretty look where you've got that octagonal going into that hole. You don't have to do it like that, but it's a nice touch. You know. Okay, so so one thing you want to do, found out the other day when I put together one of these, is to crown these things. Because since they've been split and whittled, they'll bow with you sometimes, and I wasn't paying attention, and I put one together where the crown went down on one side, went up on the other side, and there was about a 1/2 inch difference between these things, so the center stretcher ended up at an angle. When you got the whole chair together and finished, you didn't see it. And making the chair to itself, the angles and everything doesn't make any difference. You take care of all that in the process. But I learned something. I mean, it's obvious once you learn it, like everything, but before that, you aren't really sure. So, so you got the left stretcher and the right stretcher. Which one's which? There's my right stretcher, so it's over here on this side as you're sitting in the chair. And left stretcher over here. Let's put it in about right like that. Growth rings are perpendicular to the long wood fibers of the mortise piece, always. But there's one little adjustment that you've got to make with octagonal stretchers, and that is that you want the center stretcher, so the center stretcher is going to be coming into this side right here, and I like for it to be coming in just as square as possible into it, which means that instead of this being rotated out like that, you need to straighten it back up again to where this flat side of this radial plane, where the medullary rays are right here, is perpendicular to the seat. And you just do that just by eye. You just look right over the top of it. And so the way we can assemble this thing to make sure, there's also the splay angle. So you've got this angle that we need to take care of. And if you assemble it in place, you can take care of all that without having to figure anything or calculate anything. Okay, so let's see where I was a minute ago there. Okay, let's get this one going. That one's not quite as tight as I would like it. It's going to work because it's going to swell. It's super dried. It's going to swell at least 10 thousandths, and it's going to tighten up in there. But I hit that just a tad heavy, but not too much. It'll work. Let's see what happens over here with this one. All right, come on. I can't even get this one in. There we go. Now let's stick it back in the hole and it'll get its angle. And then I can turn it to where I'm sliding right over the top of it, and that side is down right like that. Okay. Now, get my dead blow hammer here. And you don't want to jerk these holes around too much, so if it's not seating real easy at this point, I've already got it all started, the angles are right, I'm going to take it out and just put it right here. And that might have done it. Let's see. Yeah. Looking good. So now we can just pop that back into place. Decide which way I'm going to put this one. So right like that. And get it started. Pull this up out of the hole a little bit. See if I can get it started. There we go. Maybe one more little smack. That's it. That looks good. Okay. I usually don't do that with the dead blow. I usually do that with this right here called it. Doesn't end up hurting my dead blow on the bottom of those, and it drives it in just a little bit better. So now we're going to bore for the center stretcher. It looks like I got that one off just the least little bit. I'd like to turn it back that way, but I doubt if I can do it. No, it's set. It ain't going anywhere. So you noticed I didn't use any glue. I forgot to talk about that. You can use glue. Glue's a good thing, good insurance. In the future, I'll probably start using it on these chairs if I'm selling them, just because you don't want them to come apart if they're at a customer's house. But all the ones I've made so far, I hadn't used any glue. And the chair's designed to be built without glue, or to be able to be built without glue. But certainly feel free to use it, and whatever glue. I like to use hot glue, but glue works, whatever glue you want. Okay, I guess that's okay. So now we need to figure out how we're going to bore this thing. So I need a line. So right there on that large part, right in the center, is where we're going to bore it. So let's just mark that. And you can measure it, find center. It doesn't matter. It's all going to take care of itself here. So put a stick down there, and put this stick just right on top. Right on top where the mortises are going to be bored. Okay. Now you're going to line this one up, just winding sticks. Line this one up to where they match. Strike your line. Okay. So now we've got that plane right there. Now what we need is this height. We need this plane right here. So I've got a block of wood over here that I used for a chair yesterday. Let's see if this one works for this. That'll work. And just a tad bit low. So what you want is for it to be half the thickness of your shank of your drill bit or your extension. So half the thickness of that. So that's going to be resting on it in order to get it just perfect. But it'll be fine. And you know, this one's a tad bit low, so when I drill, and of course the height of this one is what you set this for when you're drilling this. Not, you know, you don't get the height of that and then set it over here and drill that one. So if there's a difference, you know, you got to keep that in mind. Although chair's pretty resilient, it'll handle a little bit of stuff. So this one's just a little bit lower. All I'm going to do, instead of cutting another block, I'm just going to lift it up off that just a little bit. Just adjust to it. Adjust to it like that. And it'll be fine. So okay, that's one of them. So let's just drill that one first. So let's see if I can get these guys out. These locking tapers are work. There we go. So set that back like that. Let's see. Let's tighten those things down a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I didn't mark it with a scratch awl, but this point's pretty sharp. There we go. Okay, so you see, oh, that's going to work out fine. So I calculated it for it to be hitting right back here. Well, the seat's not wide enough, so it's hitting up here on the extension. But like I said, this is a little bit low for that. Worked perfect. I don't know what I'll do. We'll get to the other side. It was a little bit low for it too, but it'll work. Let's turn it like that. Let me see. Now if I could see my line, so my line is being blocked by my block, and but I can adjust to that. Let's see the way I'm going to do it. If I'm going to put it right, how would I do that? Okay, let's adjust something here. This is woodworking. Always something you don't expect, but you just adjust. Now let's see. If I can put that block right there, if it'll work. There we go. Now I can see the line. Well, this is not going real well, is it? I'm going to just move that. I can hold it. Let's see what we got there. Well, gotta go get a rule. Compressor out. Okay, so measured that and a little bit shy. So you can feel when it catches again, and then let's just make sure I'm okay right there. There we go. Figure out the spot on my belly where it's touching. Make sure it don't come through the other side. Okay. Now let's see what I got. Looks good. And while you aren't looking, I'm going to drill this other side, and then we'll measure for the center stretcher. So both holes are bored, and I went in and cut these to length, cut the tenons on it, shaved it down, shoulder away. Growth rings excuse me, this time would be right like this, perpendicular to the longwood fibers. And the one angle we don't know, and we don't need to know it, is of course how these things go together right like that. It will automatically do that. So just kind of pop those in there. Get this one started. Go. And we can push that down a little bit. Okay, so those are a little tight, but I can take this out now. And then if I just turn it like that, I can put it right on the bench. Okay, that one's in. That one needs to go in more. Maybe a little more. Ooh, that's good. That's nice. Well, let's see if it fits. So if you did all this right, which it's kind of hard to do wrong, and you set it up there, it ought to be sitting just inside the holes. And then you have to spread it apart just at least a little bit to get it together. And of course, if you're going to use glue, I always just do a dry run just to make sure everything's going good. But if you're not going to use glue, then this is it. And of course, the tenons are super dried on these ends of the legs, so they're going to swell, and they're going to be wedged from the other side. Watch down here. You can hear the sound, but also watch down here where my marks are to see if they're moving any. You hear a difference there. Yep, and there. I believe that's it. Get it with this. Okay, so there we go. Nothing broken, that's always nice to see. Now let's put some wedges in right there. So first I'll just show you how I make the wedges, so we'll go over to the other workbench.